Deep in the wilderness, far from the hum of civilization, a hiker stumbled upon something that didn't belong. It was a perfect black cube resting in the shadowed embrace of towering trees. The air around it hung heavy, an unnatural silence pressing against the world, as if the forest itself had ceased to breathe. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Every instinct in the hiker's body screamed for retreat, a primal urge clawing at their chest. Yet, beneath the fear, a chilling certainty took root. They were not alone. Invisible eyes watched from the stillness. This was not the first time such a cube had appeared. Hikers in Yellowstone had whispered of them, guarded by soldiers in crisp uniforms, their faces unreadable. A hunter in Alaska had found one encircled by dead coyotes, their bodies arranged in an eerie, symmetrical pattern, like a ritual frozen in time. A man in the redwoods had stood before one, his compass spinning wildly as the needle betrayed its purpose. And always, the military lingered in the shadows of these tales, their presence a silent, ominous thread. What were these cubes? Where had they come from? Why did they leave behind a lingering dread, a sense that something darker, something unseen, was at play? Something waited in the wilderness, patient and predatory, and it hungered for discovery. But why? The hiker wondered, did so few speak of it. In August of 2001, deep within the Great Smoky Mountains, an experienced hiker from Kentucky stood at the edge of a serene lake. The morning air bit his skin, cool and crisp, as autumn's slow approach painted the horizon. His backpack was packed, permits neatly tucked away, his preparation meticulous for the journey ahead. The wilderness stretched before him, vast and quiet, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves caught in the wind. As he turned from his campsite, the world felt perfect, idyllic, even a postcard of nature's embrace. But the moment his boots struck the trail, a shadow fell over that perfection. It began subtly, a faint unease whispering through him, an instinct too quiet to name. The forest grew still, too still, as if the air itself had thickened, heavy with an unspoken tension. He paused, his breath catching, eyes darting through the trees. He listened to the familiar chorus of the wild, the chirping of birds, the soft shuffle of deer in the underbrush. Nothing. The silence was absolute, a void that swallowed sound itself. Discomfort coiled in his gut, tightening with every passing second. In the Smoky Mountains, where life pulsed even in the remotest corners, such stillness was unnatural. No animals approached the nearby stream. No insects droned in the air. The silence pressed against his chest, a weight he couldn't shake. He held his breath, ears straining for any sign of life. Nothing answered. A chill slithered down his spine, cold and sharp. It's probably nothing, he told himself, brushing it aside. Just the jitters of solitude, the nervous energy of the wild. He forced his feet forward, pressing deeper into the forest. Hours dragged by, each step heavier than the last, the unease growing like a shadow at dusk. The silence followed, relentless, stretching around him like a living thing. It wasn't until he reached the creek, his planned resting spot, that he saw it. At first, it was a trick of the light, a dark shape flickering beyond the trees. But as he stepped closer, his heart lurched, pounding against his ribs, his breath quickening with every stride. There on the forest floor, just feet from the creek, sat a perfect black cube. It defied comprehension. Not a rock, not some forgotten piece of gear, but a smooth jet-black shape, absorbing the sunlight around it, a void carved into the landscape. It rested there, pristine and deliberate, as if placed by unseen hands. The dirt beneath bore no marks, no trace of its arrival. Dread crashed over him, raw and visceral, more intense than anything his years of hiking had ever conjured. It wasn't just the cube's strangeness. It was the overwhelming certainty that he shouldn't be here. The air grew denser, pressing in, as if the world held its breath alongside him. The sensation clawed at his skin, burrowed into his bones. He had trespassed into a forbidden place, a realm where he was never meant to stand. His heart thundered, his legs trembled beneath him, his body screamed to flee, but his mind, transfixed by the cube's impossible presence, held him captive. Then came the worst of it. As he stood there, frozen in terror, a new sensation gripped him. He was being watched. It struck like a blade, immediate, chilling, undeniable. Invisible eyes tracked his every twitch, their gaze sinking into him. He scanned the trees, desperate for a glimpse of the watcher. Nothing. No figure, no animal, just the endless stretch of silent forest. Yet the feeling gnawed, relentless, burrowing deeper. His instincts, sharpened by years outdoors, roared for escape. Every fiber of his being begged him to run. Staying was dangerous. Dangerous in a way he couldn't name. A primal terror beyond the physical. A darkness that chilled his soul. He stepped back, then again and again, retreating from the cube, his eyes locked on its void-like surface. The forest remained unnervingly silent, the trees themselves seeming to hold their breath. He turned, stumbling toward the creek to refill his water bottle, his hands trembling as he knelt. His gaze flicked back to the cube, unable to resist its pull. What the hell was that thing? His mind raced, breath ragged, as he fumbled with the bottle. Even at a distance, the cube's weight tugged at him, a silent call beckoning him closer, daring him to investigate. But he couldn't. Fear scrambled his thoughts, the sensation of being hunted overwhelming every sense. He backed away from the creek, each step a labor, as if the air itself resisted him. The trail loomed ahead, but disorientation clouded his mind. His backpack, once light, now dragged like a sack of stones. His feet faltered, the ground shifting beneath him. He glanced over his shoulder. Nothing. No one. Yet the feeling clung like a shadow, the unshakable sense of pursuit. The air suffocated him, pressing in, a constant reminder that he didn't belong. He hiked on, desperate, but the terror refused to fade. When he finally staggered back to camp, he said nothing. He couldn't. Who would believe such a tale? It sounded absurd, even to him. But the truth festered. It wasn't just the cube that haunted him. It was a feeling, the creeping terror that had taken root, unshakable even as time passed. He thought he might escape it, that the silence and dread would fade. He was wrong. Others had seen them too, black cubes in remote wilderness areas. Each encounter steeped in the same dread. Some spoke of soldiers nearby, standing watch as if guarding something dangerous. He tried to move on, to forget, but how could he? The fear lingered, a whisper of something vast and sinister at play. To this day, when he walks those mountains, those woods, the cube remains etched in his memory. He's never seen another, but the feeling follows, an unseen shadow trailing his every step. Strange stories crept into wilderness lore after that. Hikers, explorers, adventurers, all spoke in hushed tones of the mysterious black cubes. Their accounts spread wildfire fast, yet one detail held firm. The cubes appeared only in remote places, tucked away where few dare to tread. And each sighting carried that same heavy, unnatural silence, an eerie stillness pulsing with sinister energy.